life is so back and forth. Like 1 minute, it's like the best day ever. And then the next minute, you're like, I'm kind of done with this life. But anyways, we say alhamdulillah to all of it because as a believer, there's benefit in the good and the bad. And we recognize that emotions are also from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And yeah, He can give us a good day as a test. He can give us a rough day as a test. And it's all like a balancing act. And balance is a central theme in Islam, especially in health. So I want to talk about balance. And in Islam, there's a central theme of balance. Like you have to keep this balancing act. It's the middle way. It's the straight path away from deviation. And it's so easy to go out of balance in all regards. Like our bodies go out of balance. Spiritually, we can certainly develop some isms and ideologies that are extreme, even though somehow Islam has been linked with extremism, but I'm not sure how that would make sense because it's called being steadfast, not extremist. But anyways, so health is something that I'm curious about and I'm learning about an Islamic medicine perspective. And it's very interesting. So where do you even start with this? So I'm just scratching the surface with it, but basically when it comes to health, it is not one size fits all. Everybody has a different body type. There's like main constitutions, and everybody is within these constitutions. And what could be medicine for one person could actually kind of be poison for another person. And so I'll just say it first. So with the constitutions, you can either be hot and dry, hot and wet, cold and dry, or cold and wet. And there's so much more behind that, but let's just stay there for a second. So ideally, you're warm and moist. And as we can see by looking around us, heat sustains life and moisture grows it. Like if you're gardening, you need the sun and you need water and then your plants are happy. Done. Your body is kind of the same. You need moisture like your blood and you need warmth, which is like your energy, heat, like your metabolism to keep your body going. So, yeah, but we each have one like default constitution. So it was only today that I finally figured out my default constitution, which is hot and dry. I was kind of back and forth between hot and dry and cold and dry. But now I'm like, okay, it's hot and dry and it makes sense. And a lot of people will do their constitution based on personality, but personality is actually secondary. Primarily, you want to go with like the shape of a person, their temperature, their color, and then, there's personality as well. And it feels nice to finally know what my constitution is so that I can know how to balance it. So with our health, like if somebody is cold and dry, it would be more aggravating for them to be taking medicines that are cold and dry, like as a general rule, right? You could still take it, but like balance it. But like generally speaking, you want to do the opposite to balance it. So cold and dry would need more warm and moist to keep it balanced. So it's kind of interesting because in modern Western medicine, it's kind of like a one size fits all. Like if you have a cold, here's cold medication. Meanwhile, there's like hot colds, there's cold colds, like there's different types of colds and you have different conditions. And it is not one size fits all at all. Like there's so much variation. So the hot and cold, dry, wet, that's your temperaments. And your temperament is like a balance between these, like where are you on the scale of hot to cold and where are you on the scale of dry to moist. And that's an ideal temperament is not the center point. It's not like a mathematical center, like you're in the center of hot and cold and you're in the center of cold and you're in the center of moist and wet. Or moist and dry, bro. Okay. Yeah. The center point is not the balanced constitution because there's so many factors. So a balanced constitution is going to vary person to person and it's going to be based on where you live because your climate also impacts. Like if you live in a really hot and dry place, perhaps a cooler and moister constitution would be more beneficial for you to counterbalance you. And you can notice, like, if you move to a different country that's like a totally different climate, it really throws you off, doesn't it? You're kind of like, oh, it's too hot for me here, or it's too cold for me, it's too humid for me here. You can tell. Because we kind of have this like default temperament, and our temperament is balanced with the temperament of the climate. And male and female have different baseline temperaments. Person to person, there's different baselines. So each person has like a unique combination of these. And actually each organ also has different temperaments. So like the brain tends to be more cool and moist, whereas the heart tends to be more hot and dry. Like, at least in relation to each other. I'm not going to say your brain is cold, because obviously you have a baseline body temperature, but each organ has their own function. Like, stomach is like hot and fiery, and your bones are dry, your hair is dry. But each person still has like a general overall constitution that they're more inclined towards. So for me, that was hot and dry. And you would think I like cold, wet foods, but it's not always the case. You actually might end up liking things that aggravate your condition. So yeah, natural medicine is very powerful, but it's like if you go to a Western doctor, they're going to prescribe you something, but it's going to be specific and it's going to be in the right dosage. Like, they tell you to take 2 pills a day, 10 days, whatever. Natural medicine is the same. The dosage has to be equal to the illness. You can't like just take it once and take some random natural medicine and be like, this doesn't work. So each person, obviously, with their different constitution would need a different natural medicine to balance them. And you need it in the right dosage based on what you have. So yeah, it'd be really good if we had more Islamic doctors around to tell us these things and help us out, because obviously it's very nuanced. So Allah has mentioned in the Quran that if you look around, there's signs all around you. And some might have heard like as above, so below, or like all these like fractals, macrocosm, microcosm. Like, you see the same patterns playing out on different scales. So one of those patterns is that our temperament is similar to the elements of the earth. And Allah said He made us from clay. So obviously there's the earth element there, but we are made up of a combination of all the elements. So the earth is like, in its natural state, it's cold and dry. So that would be like the cold and dry constitution, which is also called melancholic. Water would be cold and wet in its natural state. So if you have a phlegmatic constitution, you tend towards being cold and wet, and that's like represented by the water element. And then hot and dry is the fire element, as I can relate to that. And hot and moist, so hot and dry they call it choleric, and then hot and moist is called sanguine, which is the air. And that's like the more balanced state to be in. So, but not to say like, obviously it's not bad if you're cold and dry. That's just, you just have to know how to nourish yourself differently, so it's a balance. It may seem kind of random, like, what is this, like, what does that have to do with my health, like hot and cold? And I'm still learning. There's a lot that goes into it. But so back in the day, this was how they classified things. And they didn't have the technology that we do today to like peer in and look at things at the molecular level. So they would really just use the power of observation, and people would be more in touch with their body and know how their body felt after eating certain things. Like, oh, you eat ginger and you're like, that heated up my body. Or you have milk and you're like, yeah, that cooled me down. So they use the power of observation, and the diagnostic tool of the doctor was themselves, like their observation. So the doctor had to be in a balanced state in order to be able to notice imbalances in the other person. Right? So you have to like be at baseline yourself to notice anything off with your patients. Meanwhile, today, it doesn't matter if your doctor is more unhealthy than you are, because we just have this total reliance on technology, and the technology peers in to tell us what's going on. And it's interesting because now we use technology to see what's going on inside to determine the issue. Whereas back in the day, they would look at the signs on the outside of your body and observe that to tell you what's going on inside of you. Like your temperature change, skin color, rashes. And I don't want to get too deep into it here because I'm trying to compile it for like other episodes as well. Like this is something we're going to want to get into. And of course, there's still variations between Unani medicine, which is more like Greco-Arabic, Islamic, versus just Tib Nabawi, which is prophetic medicine, completely derived from Quran and Sunnah. So perhaps we'll just save that for a different episode on the differences between the different constitutions and trying to figure out which one you are, because it could be very nuanced. And as well as like what even is a temperament and how does it relate to like our modern understanding of what is going on in the body. So yeah, stay tuned.